Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Now that Jonathan Jackson is back as legacy character Lucky, it's easy for many long-time General Hospital viewers to ship L2. But Elizabeth was part of another beloved pairing not too long ago, and those devoted shippers are torn. None of you love Liz and Lucky like I love them. They are the reason I fell in love with GH, the fans started their post. When Lucky died in that fire, that was it for me, they admitted. Then one day, I tuned in on a whim, and it was the day that Liz was waiting at the altar for Franco, and they play the montage of those two, and OMG. I went back and saw their whole story. Many responded with their love for Franco and Elizabeth, who were together from 2016 to 2021, when Franco was killed by Peter, Wes Ramsey. I love the chemistry that he and Liz had. I can't wait for the day 5 years or a decade from now that he shows up and they get back together, a hopeful viewer wrote, while another made the argument, Franco and Liz had the best love story in my opinion, in the last 20 years. There were just as many anti-L2 commenters as there were Frizz lovers. It annoys me to see Liz and Lucky portrayed as some kind of star-crossed soulmates, when Liz fought so hard to get Franco back, a viewer shared. I can agree Franco was there for Liz and the boys when Lucky wasn't, said another. Lucky fans jumped to the Spencer's defense. Now that GG's Lucky is back, I'm watching a lot more, one viewer revealed, while another explained, no matter what issues I have with L2 right now, I will take them with a big kiss-ass smile on my face over anything Liz and Franco. Many viewers were also quick to explain why Elizabeth shouldn't have been paired with the former serial killer. Franco was a terrible character, should have left it alone with James Franco instead of recasting the role, and excusing all his actions on a brain tumor, said one viewer. Too bad Franco was a retcon rapist who got paired with a rape victim, who he disrespected as an artist, and who got sidelined to make way for him, another viewer brutally put it. And of course, if those two pairings don't work out, there's always this viewer's opinion. Elizabeth should have been with only one person since 2006, and that is Jason, Steve Burton. Over the decades, General Hospital has offered its viewers countless twists, turns, and complicated love triangles. Few of these dynamics, however, have sparked as much debate as the one involving Elizabeth Weber. Elizabeth, played by Rebecca Herbst, has been at the heart of many of Port Charles' most unforgettable romances. However, her relationships with two very different men, Lucky Spencer and Franco Baldwin, have remained some of the most discussed and analyzed within the fan community. Lucky, a longtime love, and Franco, a darker, more unpredictable force in Elizabeth's life, represent two vastly different parts for her. Yet, both men have played pivotal roles in her development as a character and in the relationships that defined her storyline. The Lucky Spencer era, a tale of first loves and heartbreak. Lucky Spencer, portrayed by Jonathan Jackson and later by Greg Vaughn, was one of Elizabeth's first great loves. Their relationship began as a whirlwind romance, filled with passion, intensity, and the excitement of first love. Lucky was the son of legendary characters Luke and Laura Spencer, and his connection to Elizabeth felt almost predestined. Lucky was the classic boy-next-door archetype, charming, handsome, and noble, with a deeply caring nature. For many fans, the idea of Lucky and Elizabeth together felt like a natural fit, rooted in the rich history of Port Charles. Their relationship was complicated from the start. Lucky's struggles with addiction, his tumultuous family background, and his often noble but flawed decision-making provided ample drama for viewers. Elizabeth, on the other hand, brought her own baggage into the relationship, having faced the trials of losing her first love, Jason Morgan, and grappling with the complexities of being a single mother. Despite their challenges, Lucky and Elizabeth managed to find common ground, for a time. Their relationship blossomed into one of the defining couples of the late 90s and early 2000s on the show. However, as with all soap operas, their happiness was not meant to last. Lucky's increasing dependency on drugs and his inability to confront his personal demons drove a wedge between him and Elizabeth. The emotional and physical distance grew, and Elizabeth found herself once again questioning whether Lucky could be the man she needed him to be. The downfall of their relationship became a pivotal moment in Elizabeth's character arc, forcing her to redefine her sense of self and her ideas about love. Lucky's return to Port Charles in later years was filled with lingering tension and unresolved feelings. He came back a changed man, but the cracks in their relationship were too deep to mend. While Elizabeth and Lucky's love story may have ended in heartbreak, it was one that resonated deeply with fans, especially those who rooted for them from the very beginning. For many, Lucky was the one that Elizabeth was meant to be with, though true love, the man who could heal her heart. Enter Franco, the darker, more complex love. Then came Franco, played by Roger Howarth, who would go on to turn Elizabeth's world upside down in a way that Lucky never could. Franco was initially introduced as a psychotic artist with a dark past, someone who had been involved in many of the show's more sinister storylines. He wasn't a typical leading man for Elizabeth. He was unpredictable, dangerous, and came with a legacy of violence that would leave anyone questioning his place in a romantic relationship. But General Hospital viewers know that soap operas thrive on complex, morally grey characters, and Franco was no exception. Franco's initial introduction to Elizabeth was anything but romantic. Their early interactions were fraught with tension, misunderstandings, and a general sense of discomfort. However, as the storylines surrounding Franco and his redemption arc progressed, a surprising chemistry between him and Elizabeth began to emerge. Unlike Lucky, Franco wasn't simply a man fighting his demons. He was actively seeking redemption, trying to reshape his identity, and in doing so, he developed a deep affection for Elizabeth. What made Franco so intriguing to Elizabeth and to viewers was his complexity. He wasn't the predictable good guy who always did the right thing. Franco's past as a criminal and a sociopath often put him at odds with his desires to be a better person and to prove to Elizabeth that he could be the man she needed. In a way, his journey was one of self-discovery, much like Elizabeth's own quest for personal healing and emotional growth. Franco's relationship with Elizabeth was not without its share of challenges, but what stood out most was the way he understood her in ways that no one else had. He saw past her surface-level beauty and complexity to the heart of who she was. Their connection was raw, real, and grounded in a shared understanding of pain, guilt, and the need for redemption. While Lucky had represented Elizabeth's ideal of perfect love, Franco became someone who challenged her perceptions of what love could be. For many fans, Franco and Elizabeth's romance was a polarizing one. Some viewed Franco's dark past and violent tendencies as a deal-breaker. How could Elizabeth, who had suffered so much, ever truly find peace with someone like him? Others, however, appreciated the way Franco's love for Elizabeth helped him confront his demons and become a better person. Their love was messy, but it was also genuine. For these fans, Franco was the one who understood Elizabeth on a deeper level, who accepted her flaws, and who helped her overcome her own emotional scars. Fans weigh in. Who is Elizabeth's true love? When it comes to deciding who Elizabeth's true love is, Lucky or Franco, the debate has been ongoing for years. Some fans are staunch defenders of Lucky, insisting that he was Elizabeth's first and truest love. For these fans, Lucky represents the ideal partner, kind, loving, and noble. His enduring connection to Elizabeth, despite the challenges they faced, is seen as proof that they were meant to be together. There's a sense of nostalgia among these viewers, who remember the days when Lucky and Elizabeth's relationship was one of the central love stories on the show. Others, however, have firmly sided with Franco. For them, Franco's love for Elizabeth was transformative. It wasn't without flaws, but it was real, raw, and imperfect. Something that resonated with their own experiences of love and personal growth. Franco gave Elizabeth a chance to rediscover who she was, outside of her past, and to open her heart to a man who, though flawed, loved her unconditionally. His willingness to change for her and his genuine care for her family made him the better match for Elizabeth, in their eyes. In the midst of this debate, there are also those fans who argue that Elizabeth doesn't need a true love to define her happiness. Instead, they focus on her evolution as a character, her journey of self-discovery, and the fact that she has managed to find her own voice. For these fans, Elizabeth's relationships with both Lucky and Franco were merely chapters in a much larger narrative about her growth and empowerment. These viewers are less concerned with who Elizabeth ends up with and more focused on her personal development, which has been one of the most compelling aspects of her character's journey. Love, legacy, and what's next continues to evolve. Elizabeth Webber's love life will undoubtedly remain a central storyline. Whether she finds her way back to Lucky, rekindles her connection with Franco, or moves forward on her own, fans will continue to weigh in on who her true love is. What makes Elizabeth's journey so captivating is the depth of her character and the way her love life is intricately intertwined with their personal growth. The debate between Lucky and Franco is not just about who is the better man for Elizabeth. It's about what Elizabeth needs from a partner at any given moment in her life. At times, she needed the stability and comfort of Lucky's love. At others, she needed the emotional intensity and raw honesty that Franco offered. Ultimately, her love life has never been about choosing between two men. It's about choosing herself and what she needs to heal and move forward. As fans continue to voice their opinions on Elizabeth's love life, one thing is certain: her journey is far from over. Whether Lucky, Franco, or someone new enters the picture, Elizabeth will continue to face the challenges of love, loss, and redemption in a way that only a soap opera legend like her can. And no matter who ultimately becomes her true love, one thing remains undeniable: Elizabeth Webber will always be one of the most compelling, dynamic characters in General Hospital's storied history. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.